While in China, one American named Tom is very promiscuous and does not use a condom the entire time he is there. A week after arriving back home in the States, Tom wakes one morning to find his penis covered with bright green and purple spots. Horrified, he immediately goes to see a doctor. The doctor, never having seen anything like this before, orders some tests and tells the man to return in 2 days for the results. Tom returns a couple of days later, and the doctor says, "I've got bad news for you. You've contracted Mongolian VD. It's very rare and almost unheard of here in the US. We know very little about it." The man looks a little perplexed and says, "Well, give me a shot or something and fix me up, doc." The doctor answers, "I'm sorry, there's no known cure. We're going to have to amputate your penis." Tom screams in horror, "Absolutely not. I want a second opinion." The doctor replies, "Well, it's your choice. Go ahead if you want, but surgery is your only option." Deciding not to sit idly by, Tom began visiting other doctors. However, all the doctors said the same thing: it was necessary to amputate the male dignity. Within a few days, the man began to feel unbearable pain in his joints, and his skin acquired an unnatural shade. Soon he began to lose hope of recovery. However, the man began to explore the internet in search of information about his symptoms. After many hours of searching, he came across a rare medical report about an unknown disease, the symptoms of which partially coincided with his. And this disease was treated by a Chinese doctor living in a small village in a remote part of China. In an effort to find answers and treatment, Tom decided to hit the road to an unusual place, a Chinese village known for its traditional methods of treatment. Arriving in a small village in a remote part of China, Tom was greeted by the locals with open arms. They were ready to help him in his fight against an unknown disease by listening carefully to his story and studying his symptoms. A local doctor, Chen, offered his help and performed a series of procedures and rituals based on ancient Chinese methods of treatment. Despite the fact that these methods seemed unusual to Tom, he agreed to trust the experience of local residents. The Chinese doctor examines his penis and proclaims, "Ah, yes, Mongolian VD, very rare disease." The guy says to the doctor, Yeah, I already know that, but what can we do?" "My American doctor wants to cut off my penis." The Chinese doctor shakes his head and laughs. "Stupid American doctors always want to amputate. Make more money that way. No need to amputate." "Oh, thank God," the man exclaims. "Yes," says the Chinese doctor. "Wait 2 weeks. Fall off by itself." One day in the future, Donald Trump has a heart attack and dies. He immediately goes to hell, where the devil is waiting for him. "I don't know what to do here," says the devil. "You are on my list, but I have no room for you. You definitely have to stay here, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got 3 folks here who weren't quite as bad as you. I'll let one of them go, but you have to take their place. I'll even let you decide who leaves." Donald thought that sounded pretty good, so the devil opened the door to the first room. In it was Richard Nixon and a large pool of water. Nixon kept diving in and surfacing, empty-handed. Over and over and over, he dived in and surfaced with nothing. Such was his fate in hell. "No," Donald said. "I don't think so. I'm not a good swimmer, and it would ruin my hair. I don't think I could do that all day long." The devil led him to the door of the next room. In it was Ronald Reagan with a sledgehammer and a room full of rocks. All he did was swing that hammer, time after time after time. "No, this is no good. I've got this problem with my shoulder. I would be in constant agony if all I could do was break rocks all day," commented Donald. The devil opened a third door. Through it, Donald saw Bill Clinton lying on the bed, his arms tied over his head and his legs restrained in a spread-eagle pose. Bent over him was Monica Lewinsky, doing what she does best. Donald looked at this in shocked disbelief and finally said, "Yeah, man, I can handle this." The devil smiled and said, "Okay, Monica, you're free to go." A man met a beautiful girl, and he decided he wanted to marry her right away. She protested, "But we don't know anything about each other." He replied, "That's all right. We'll learn about each other as we go along." So she consented, and they were married, and they went on honeymoon to a very nice resort. One morning, they were lying by the pool when he got up off his towel, climbed up to the 30-foot high board, and did a 2.5 tuck gainer, entering the water perfectly, almost without a ripple. This was followed by 3 rotations in jackknife position before he again straightened out and cut the water like a knife. After a few more demonstrations, he came back and lay down on his towel. She said, "That was incredible." He said, "I used to be an Olympic diving champion. You see, I told you we'd learn more about ourselves as we went along." So she got up, jumped in the pool, and started doing laps. She was moving so fast that the ripples from her pushing off at one end of the pool would hardly be gone before she was already touching the other end of the pool. After about 30 laps, completed in mere minutes, she climbed back out and lay down on her towel, barely breathing hard. He said, "That was incredible. Were you an Olympic endurance swimmer?" "No," she said. "I was a prostitute in Venice, and I worked both sides of the canal." A man goes to the doctor and says, "I've got a tapeworm. I've been to so many specialists, and no one can seem to get rid of it." The doctor thinks for a few moments and says, "Okay, come back next week with a banana and a cookie." The man is confused, but having been failed by every conventional treatment, goes home and returns a week later with a banana and a cookie. "Drop your pants and bend over the table," says the doctor. "What the hell are you doing?" the man asks. "Trust me," says the doctor. The man, a little distressed, does as he's asked. The doctor shoves the banana up his ass, and then a couple of minutes later shoves the cookie up as well. "Come back in a week with another banana and cookie." The man is unsure about the treatment, but again has tried everything else and wants to get rid of this tapeworm. The next week, he returns with another banana and cookie. "Drop your pants and bend over the table," says the doctor. After 3 weeks of this, the doctor says, "Okay, next week will be your final treatment. Bring me a banana and a hammer." The man comes back with the requested items. "Drop your pants and bend over the table." Trembling, knowing what's coming, the man does as he's asked. The doctor shoves the banana up his ass and waits and waits. Eventually, the tapeworm sticks its head out and yells, "Where's my cookie?" And the doctor smashes it with the hammer. My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.